Okay, let's look at your formula chart for just a minute. So your formula chart or reference chart, it can be called either one, has two sides. Okay, it has one side that has formulas on it, and then it has one side that has measurements on it. Okay, it has customary and metric for length, volume, and weight. Okay, and then on both sides it has a ruler. On one side it has inches, and on one side it has centimeters. Okay, we're going to look at the conversions and do some converting between different things. So there's a couple things you need to look at on here. Number one, whenever we are converting, you need the things to be one to something. What I mean by that is, if you look at these, everything on the left says 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? When we get ready to convert, we're going to need one of those on the left and one thing on the right. So, for example, we'll just look at the top. We have 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. 1 yard equals 3 feet. 1 foot equals 12 inches. Do you see how it stair steps? What I mean by stair step is yards is both here and here. Feet is both here and here. And then as we go down, it continues. Quarts is here and here. Pints is here and here. Cups is here and here, right? That's because you can convert between different rows also. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do, okay? I know you guys can convert if I said how many feet are in a yard, okay? You guys could pretty easily figure that out because it's either going to be multiplying by 3 or dividing by 3, right? What we're going to talk about mostly is what happens when you go between the lines. So if we're going, let's say, from 12 inches to miles, and we need to get that conversion, okay? It's really pretty easy. So for example, let's say we're going from inches to miles. We need them on the same level. So we need to bring these inches all the way up here equal with the miles. Okay? We can't jump catty-cornered like this. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this up until we get them on the same level. So you always need one number on the left, one number on the right. Because let's say inches, well, inches is only here. That's a bad example. But if we were using like gallons and pints, okay, we would need something on the left. So we're going to use the gallons on the left. Pints is both here on the left and here on the right. So which one do we need to use? The one on the right, because we have to have one item on the left and one item on the right of the equal sign in order to get that conversion. Now, since these are not on the same line, we can take this right number and multiply it straight up to get our conversion. Well, what's 2 times 4? 8. So 1 gallon is going to be 8 pints. Okay, so let's go back and look at the miles and inches. So if we were trying to convert miles and inches, right, we were going to have to multiply this inches up here to get it up to the miles. So 12 times 3 is what? And then we're going to have to multiply 36 times what?
1,770.
Right.
That's a big one.
Okay, so that would be our conversion. 1 mile would be what? 73,360 inches. And that's if I did my math right, which I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes. So maybe.
This should be 6. Okay. So now that we know how to find the conversion, let's go over here and look at our notes. And this was supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. It doesn't really matter, the numbers. Okay. So when we look at converting measurements, there's a really easy way to do this. We're going to make a chart. So go to your converting measurements. Anytime you're converting two things, the easiest way to do that is to make a chart. So we're going to make a little window chart. And then we need to label this somewhere. Well, what are our two things that we're using for this problem?
Quarts and fluid ounces.
Quarts and fluid ounces, right? So that's our two labels. Now, you can either put your labels out to the sides, you can put them on the top and bottom, okay? Whatever is easiest for you, the easiest spot for you to put them there. So I'm gonna put my ounces on top and my quarts on bottom. Now you could have written it on top of the chart and below the chart, that would be fine. Then I have two different sides to this chart. One side of this chart is the conversion that I'm pulling off of my formula chart. The other side is whatever I was given. So let's look at the formula chart. We're converting between ounces and quarts, right? So we come over here to this formula chart. Where can we find ounces and quarts? Or fluid ounces and quarts? Under volume and capacity, fluid ounces is down here. Where's quarts at? That's on the right, so we need something on the left. Right here. Okay, so how do we get this 8 up here? 8 times 2 is? 16 times 2 is? 32. So 1 quart is 32 ounces, right? So we flick back over here. So my 1 has to go with my quart. So is my 1 going to go on top or bottom? If my 1 goes with my quarts, where am I putting quarts here? Top or bottom? Bottom. My 32 is my ounces. So where does that go? Now, you could have switched those also. It would not have mattered if you wanted to write all your quarts on top and all your ounces on bottom. That would be fine too. The other side is going to be what we get from our problem. So what did they give us in our original problem? 384 what? Fluid ounces. So is that going to go in the top space or the bottom space? We've got fluid ounces on top, quarts are on bottom. So it's going to go in the top space. Now we have this mystery down here, right? This is what we're looking for, yes? Have you ever heard of cross multiplying and dividing? Okay. The reason for doing this window is so we can cross multiply. Okay, the way you do cross multiplying is you figure out what two things you have that are across from each other or diagonal from each other. What two numbers in this chart do we have that are diagonal from each other? So we're going to multiply those two things together, which is just what? Right. Now you're going to have this own little number sticking out by itself, which is what? 32. That's what we used to divide by. So you multiply across and then you divide by whatever's left. So we're going to have 384 divided by 32.
You put the numbers in like order and then you make a butterfly out of it with no head. It would be weird.
Does 32 go into 38? It doesn't go into 3, but it goes into 38 once. And we get 64. Does 32 go into 64? Yes, twice. And that's it. So what's our answer? 12. 12 quarts. The more you do it, the easier it'll get, okay? So we're gonna, the idea is that we use this window. Okay, I like to call it a window because it kind of looks like a window grid. We label it, and we get our conversion from our formula chart, and then we cross multiply and divide. Okay, and the more you do of these, the easier they'll get. So let's do the next one. So step 1, set up your window. Step 2, find your labels. What are my labels for this question? Quarts and ounces. It does not matter if you put quarts on top or ounces on top, but you have to label it. That's the only way you know you're keeping the things together. If you screw up where you put them in this chart, then your answer is going to be wrong. Okay, now we get to go over to our formula chart and find quarts and ounces. Under where? Volume and capacity. That's the same thing. So there's 2 different ounces. There's a weight ounce and there's a volume and capacity ounce. Now, if you were on the STAR test, they would always put FLOZ. I just accidentally messed up and forgot to change it to FLOZ. So we're going to use that one. Okay. So because we need the quarts, and down here in the other one, there's no quarts. So give me one on the left and one on the right. Right, quarts is on the left. Ounces is on the right. Now, isn't this the same one we just did? So when we multiply ounces up, how many ounces are in 1 quart? 32. So we go back to our chart. Is the 32 the ounces or the quarts? The ounces. And the quarts will be 1. Do you see how it's flipped from when we did it the first time? That's okay because our labels are flipped. And then what did they give us this time? Did they give us quarts or ounces? They gave us quarts. So we're going to fill in that 54 in the other quarts spot. And now we're going to do that cross multiplying and dividing. So what new 2 numbers are we going to multiply? 54 and 32. We're giving y'all more room to write, I'm sorry. And then we have to divide by what? 1. Well, what's any number divided by 1? The same thing. So we should get 1,728 ounces. Does that line up with what y'all are getting? Good. We'll do a few more together and then I'm going to let y'all start trying them. Okay, let's look at the next one. So, step 1, what is it? The window. Step 2? Label. What are my labels here? Pints
Pounds.
and ounces. Now what do I do?
Go to your thingy again.
Go to the formula chart. Again, we're under volume and capacity. So where's pints? We can either use this pints or this pints. But I also have to have something on the right. So if I use this pints, can I use this ounces? Sorry, I left off the FL again. Okay, so we got to multiply up. So what are we going to use for our ounces? 8 times 2 is 16 ounces is 1 pint, yes? Everybody understands how we got that? So is our 16, where's our 16 our pints or our ounces? Eight times 2. What are we looking at here? The ounces. The pint was 1. The pint was 1. So even though, and our ounces were 16. Y'all said it backwards a minute ago. And then what did they give us? Did they give us pints or ounces? Pints, how many?
39.
Make sure you put that where you labeled your pints. Now what do we do?
39.
Cross multiply what two numbers?
39.
Yes, 39 and 16. Very good.
I don't get where y'all pulled that 39 from.
From the problem.
Oh.
You can't see it very well on mine because of where I was multiplying. And then that one's going to be easy to divide, right? Because we're just dividing by 1. And what are y'all getting for the answer? 624 ounces. Getting a little easier the more you do. The more we practice this, the easier it'll be. Okay, let's do this one together again. But y'all walk me through it this time. So, step 1.
Window.
Step 2.
Label.
All right, y'all tell me where to put my labels.
T first on the top one.
Okay, we're going to put a T on top.
And then LB. Which is
LB, or pounds, on bottom. Now what?
And then you go to your reference chart and you find them under weight and mass.
Okay.
Find ton.
It's 2,000 pounds.
But they're both on the same level, so I have
So what do we do if they're on the same level? Yeah, we just leave it like that. We don't have to do any multiplying up or anything because they're already level. Right? That's the easy one. Okay, so then we fill it in here. So what numbers do I put where?
on ton you put 1, then
Put a 1 for ton
on pound you put 2,000.
and 2,000 for pounds. Very good. And then-
you multiply 2,000.
Hold on, they gave us what?
3.
3 tons. So does that go on the top or bottom?
Top.
Now what?
2,000 times 3.
Cross multiply. 2,000 times 3 is going to be
6,000.
and then we're going to divide by what number? And that's going to give us 6,000 pounds. I think y'all are getting the hang of this. Okay. Do I need to do one more with you, or can you try one by yourself?
I mean,
Okay, try number 5 by yourself.
And you gotta do number 6.
I'll do it up here, and you can check it. And if you've got it and you're rock and rolling and you just want to check yours with mine and keep going, that's fine. But I'll keep doing them on the board. That way, for those of you that are having a little harder time catching on, you can practice. Our first decimal answer. How'd you do? Okay, how are y'all doing? Raise your hand if you got it right. Raise your hand if you're not done. Raise your hand if you got it wrong the first time. Nobody? Did anybody get it wrong but then see what they missed? See why they missed it?
I didn't see that one.
It's okay to get it wrong. Just make sure, okay, just make sure if you get it wrong that you're looking and understanding where you messed up. That way when you do the next one, you should be able to fix your mistakes. Yes, ma'am.
because it's a remainder.
Because when we subtracted, so 1,000 goes into 4,500 4 times, right? So then we subtract 4,000, we get 500. Well, does 1,000 go into 500? So we have to add a decimal and add a 0. So we added a decimal and a decimal up top, and then we get 1,000 goes into 5,000 5 times. I know sometimes it gets hard to see when you get all those zeros added on there. Okay. Let's try to do 2 more, and then you can do the last 2 for homework. Or 3. Hey, I don't think 3 for homework's that bad. Okay. On the next 2, you try them. If you get confused, please come see me and get help. Okay? But I want to make sure that I give you the opportunity to work it by yourself so that you know what to do on the last 3. So try these next 2. I'm going to still work them on the board so you can check yourself. Try to do them without looking at the board and see if you can get them right. If you need help, come get help. On this next one, the first one that y'all are doing, you're going to have to stair step on the formula chart. So you're going to have to multiply up, remember? I'll try to show mine also so that y'all can see it. I'm so sorry y'all could not see mine. I kind of went into the next problem a little bit. Whoops. And since most of y'all don't know your multiples of 16, I'll write them out to the side for you. 64. 80. That's really as far as you need. I'm going to do the next one in a different color so it's easy to see when y'all look at the board. You should be getting 25 gallons for number 6. Is that sounding right?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. And if you're having a hard time with these, please feel free to come in during IC and get help on your homework. I know today's kind of a weird day with IC, but
25 gallons. I got 16. Oh, so we have to do it the other way? No, you can't do it the other way. So how are you supposed to get 25? Two times 2 equals 4, and then 4 times 4 equals 16.
and then I wrote your multiples of 36 out for you also. And then you should get 35 for number 7 if you want to write it down so you can check it. Y'all try to finish that up for homework. I'll go over it with you first thing tomorrow. Remind me when y'all come in, and I'll put the answers up so you can check them.